house fires always go well, and we hit our house fires hard and we hit them fast, and they always go out, and this one didn't. I didn't ever think that I would see a house fire that would throw me for a loop, and this one did.
When I read a story, when I read a near miss, or when I read a NIOSH fatality report, I see that it's difficult when you're in that position to recall your training. It's difficult when you're in the worst situation that you've ever experienced in your life to recall some details that you need to do.
A little after 9 o'clock in the morning, we received a dispatch for a possible structure fire here at 17 Stilt Court. We pulled up to approximately right where we're standing and deployed a 1 3/4, 150-foot tank line to the front door. We forced entry through the front door and saw that the first floor was completely clear of any smoke from the front door all the way through the rear sliding glass door. At that point, we had committed our hose line up to the second floor, and the further up the stairwell we got, the thicker and less visibility we were in, and by the time we were at the top of the stairwell, we were in zero visibility. I opened the window that you see above the garage to start assisting in horizontal ventilation and smoke removal, and continued down the hallway to the rear master bedroom where we started our search for any victims and the seat of the fire. The master bedroom contained a large master bathroom, walk-in closet, and we're just doing a good thorough search, very relaxed. Things were going well at that point, and at some point the nozzle firefighter had stated the hose line had just gone flat. I wasn't too alarmed at that point, just thinking we momentarily were losing pressure due to opening up a second hose line or the engineer going from tank water to hydrant water. I continued searching the area I was in and made my way back to the hose line to check the pressure and see if we had got our normal pressure back, and the line was completely flat. At that point, I was blown away by what could be happening and why it happened so fast. It was like turning on a light switch. It was just instantaneously extreme heat, turbulent smoke. I didn't know why the hose line had gone flat, and knew we needed to get out of that structure, regroup, and then make a second attempt at making fire attack. I got everybody in front of me, and we were crawling back down the hallway to the top of the stairs for our egress point. That's where the heat got too untenable for me, and I felt like the skin was melting off my body, and conditions had deteriorated to the point of extreme high heat, and the smoke now was very turbulent, and now I'm separated from my crew, and I had to turn around in the hallway and go back to the master bedroom where conditions were more tenable. My intention was to find one of the windows I had previously opened and bail out and save myself. And I went back in the master bedroom and started a left-hand search, which is what we started to begin with. And I made one pass down the wall where I knew I had opened a window previously and hit the back corner of the bedroom, and kind of thought that was weird that I had missed the window, and turned around and made a second pass down that wall, still looking for that window, and hit another corner. And that's when reality was starting to set in that you know, I may not make it out of that house alive, and extreme panic and still concerned of the welfare of the firefighters that were assigned to me, and still trying to figure out why this fire is blowing up. And now I'm questioning my whereabouts inside the house and thinking I may be disoriented and maybe I made a wrong turn and I'm in a different bedroom than I was when we started our search. And then I thought about an article I had read on firefighter safety the morning before, and I thought about first burning to death, and then I was like, no, get a hold of yourself. You're low on air. I'm going to disconnect from my regulator. I'll take a couple of breaths of this superhated smoke and toxic gases and die of smoke inhalation before I burn. And for whatever reason, that kind of relaxed me. But this whole time, I never thought about my self-survival procedures of calling a mayday and activating my pass on my SCBA to let others know that I'm having an emergency. And you train for these things, and when it came time to perform, I couldn't recall my emergency procedures, but yet I could recall an article I read on firefighter safety one time for 20 minutes just the morning before.
I think the most important element for us to learn from these incidents are that it's challenging, and it's physically challenging, it's mentally challenging, and it's emotionally challenging, and our training needs to simulate those type of incidents. And we need to put our firefighters in positions where they're going to have to respond physically and to perform these actions.
I don't know, either out of ignorance or arrogance, but I thought that I would react better in an emergency situation. And when the time came, all that goes out the window, and you're in survival mode, and you don't really know how you're going to react or act in a situation like that. I can't think of anything well enough to describe what I was mentally and emotionally going through, but it was, the best I can describe it as a separation of your mind is doing one thing and your body is doing another, and they're not talking to each other. At that point, I thought that I needed to make one more attempt at making it down the stairs. Once I re-entered the hallway, I made it down the stairs, which is behind this sitting room right here. I descended the stairs, got a little more than halfway down, and felt and saw fire all around me, and jumped over the banister handrail and landed in this small living room here. And at that point was in a complete panic and completely disoriented to front of the house, back of the house, left, right. I was at a speed crawl in the direction I landed in that living room, which was in this direction, and behind that door is a formal dining room, and once in the formal dining room is where I saw, in my left peripheral vision, some outside light that didn't appear to be fire, and turned and headed towards that light and came out this sliding glass door behind me, and ran towards the back of the yard there. And it seemed like I had just taken only a couple of steps and saw that fence, and I looked up and was a couple steps away from that fence and thought I could either stop or slow down and run into it and get hurt, or continue at the same speed and try and push through it. And I wound up going through the fence, and then that's where a couple of the Truck 2 company members found me. And at that point, yeah, they had got the paramedics back there, treated me, got all my protective gear off, confirmed that the other 2 or 3 firefighters that were with me were safely outside of the structure, and that was the first thing that I had asked when I got my mask off, was where the other guys were, and it was confirmed that they were out, then transported to our local burn unit.
Well, the first part of a mayday is identifying that you're in a mayday situation and you need assistance. And that's a whole nother form of training. We typically don't train like that. We typically train for success. At our drills, we have a drill of a structure fire, a simulated structure fire. We put it out and we're successful. Now, if we were to train where we had a firefighter down and we require that firefighter to communicate with the incident commander, and we require that incident commander to communicate with the RIC team and others involved in the rescue, you would find that there's a lot of people that are necessary to effect a successful rescue. And so initially, sure, you may need 2 firefighters to get 1 firefighter out. But if 1 firefighter goes down or another firefighter goes down in the attempt to rescue that initial firefighter, you may need another 2 and another 2. And so the incident will grow exponentially.
I think every line of duty death probably has that one thing in common, that nobody expects to ever die in the line of duty, or anyone ever expects to be in trouble on the fire ground. And that's one thing that has definitely also changed, is now I look at fires differently. I expect it to go well, but I'm also preparing for it to not go well.